Hey everyone, welcome to Sunday Live, Spiritual Direction and Soul Care every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So glad that you're with us either on the broadcast or the replay. We're going to start doing something a little different, even though we're going to be continuing today with our looking at this idea of seeing the miracles. We are in the Christian tradition, we're in the middle of the season called Epiphany. And it's a season where it's a fancy word for seeing anew. It's a season where we intentionally look to see the work of God, the presence of the Spirit, the way the divine is showing up within us and all around us in the ordinary and the everyday, the ways that life shows us that we are not alone. Um, we've been talking a lot about how we see and how we choose to see. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more today as well. I was wearing my Montreat sweatshirt. Montreat is today, and I was thinking about where I got this. I got it at Montreat. It's a beautiful conference center and also a small college in a beautiful box canyon in the mountains of North Carolina, outside of Asheville, about 20 minutes outside of Asheville. I was there in 2018 for an amazing conference. The conference center of the college is pushed all the way to the back end of this box canyon, completely surrounded by beautiful mountains. It was fall, and a beautiful stream runs down, a rocky stream runs down the very middle, the heart of this campus. And I was there for this amazing conference called Evolving Faith 2018. And it was a really powerful experience for me. And I was just thinking about the things that like I shifted in and the need to get away so that I could reframe and really understand what was going on for myself and within myself and in my life, and the things that I really was concerned about, longing for, hoping for. And that really is the heart of this season of Epiphany. And that's what really goes to the kind of the guts of what I'm talking about these last couple of weeks, and seeing the miracles, right? Part of seeing the miracles is really being able to see ourselves and seeing ourselves for who we are, right? Um, Carl Jung says that, he has a really famous quote that says, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And when you think about Epiphany, the season of Epiphany, it starts with the story of the three wise men coming to visit the young Jesus, the Christ child. And they say, we have seen his star in the east. They didn't just observe some astronomical event, right? Some strange sign in the sky. They saw that it meant probably something more than just whatever that miraculous star was in the sky back then, 2000 years ago. They knew there was something deeper. They knew there was something more. And that's really what seeing the miracles is really about for us. There's a writer, early American writer named Willa Cather. She was from the East Coast. She moved out to Nebraska in the late 1800s, was really struck by the openness and the space, and started to write about the American life and the spiritual journey of life in those spaces. And she wrote a comment about miracles, and she said this: miracles seem to me to rest not so much upon faces or voices or healing power coming suddenly near to us from afar off, but upon our own perception, our own ability to see, being made finer, so that for a moment our eyes can see and our ears can hear what is there about us always, what is all around us always, right? So to be able to see the miracles, to be able to behold really what is wondrous and wonderful around you and between us and in us, the wonders and the miracles of everyday life, right? We have to be able to see. We have to see the more and assume that there's more behind everything that is happening. Just like those wise men, thousands of years ago, we have seen his star in the east, right? I mean, think about just things that we take for granted. Um, Something like a movable wall section that we now call doors, right? I mean, for tens of thousands of years, human beings, created dwelling structures with kind of openings in them, for coming and going out. And they might have, depending on where they lived, covered those things with like hides or blankets or weavings, right? Which kind of gave them some visual privacy and could help keep things warmer or, protect from the wind. But they weren't particularly helpful in securing their homes, giving them a sense of safety, right? And then somewhere, someone invented this thing that we take for granted called a hinge, right? And with that, everything changes, right? People can now cover those openings with what we call doors, right? They become doorways where they can come and go and turn that opening into a wall when they wanted security, right? Something as simple as a hinge is really an object of wonder when you think about it. And we can find countless examples of this in our built environments, right? We can find this all over the natural world. Things that complete the sentence, when you think about it, isn't it incredible that, right? I think of like when I was coming back from Florida after our Christmas break and we had to get to the airport early, and the part of the terminal that we were sitting in opened up to a wall of windows. And even though my kids have been on planes before, and sometimes you catch glimpses of planes at the at the airport, this was like a wall of windows at the end that looked out on the runway itself, the end of the runway. So you could see the plane line up, speed down the runway, and then lift off. And it was amazing. We sat there for a while just going, when you think about it, it's crazy, right? Like we kind of throw thousands of tons of metal into the air and we just take it for granted, right? It's magic. It's a miracle, like we can sit and talk about the science of lift and velocity and all that stuff, but it's really magic. It's amazing. It's really incredible when you think about it, right? I mean, over pandemic, so many of us have been isolated from our families, and yet we have things like FaceTime and, Duo and all the other different of Zoom, like all the different platforms that allow us sometimes to talk to people thousands of miles away. When we started Spiritual Direction and Soul Care, we had people listening in from Japan every Sunday, it was really Monday where they were, but you get my point, right? I mean, and it's like rich in sound, there's visual clarity. It's almost like Star Trek when I was growing up, like stuff that you never thought was possible was now possible, right? Skyscrapers are 2,000 plus feet tall now. People have gone to the moon. Birds can fly in flocks and then instantaneously all change direction somehow together, right? The forest fires that we're experiencing even now out in the West again, these forests though can regenerate themselves after devastating fires. And you and I, as people, this is no less miraculous. We have emotions and intuition that give us vital information about what's going on within and help us navigate the world and our relationships and how we live, right? So it's always in our ability to really see ourselves, to really see what is in front of us, to pause, right? To see the things that Willa Cather talks about are about us always. And it's there when we do this that the ordinary becomes miraculous. And it fills us with joy, and we become more grateful, and we just, I think sometimes just become easier to be around, If you can just see things for what they are and see things and see each other for who we are, right? And be thankful. So how is it, like Will Cather says, to make our perception, our ability of seeing finer? Like, how do we see more clearly, right? Well, it's a practice. And like I like to do, I like insanely practical spiritual tools, for the spiritual journey, right? It's a practice. We can engage in spiritual practices. We do meditation, breath, and stillness often on this thing. And we'll do that at the end of Sunday Live today. We're going to end with something that's really grounding for us, right? But stopping to examine everything that we tend to take for granted, right, really wouldn't leave us with much time for living our lives, right? But a practice of pausing, right? Just pushing the pause button, Just pushing the pause button from time to time to really see and to really open our hearts, to really open our hearts to the wonder that's all around. That's all around. And so it can be this intentional moment of attention, this intentional moment of attention. I mean, right now, wherever you are, while you're watching this, even on the replay, just pause for a minute and look around. Look around in your house or your office or wherever you are watching this. Just look around. Look at what's all around you and maybe think about your experience of the last day or two, the things that you've been experiencing, you know? What are things that you might notice or remember that make you smile and wonder? Maybe it was a conversation that was had. Maybe it was the way your dog greets you when you come home. Maybe it's just that piece of art that you really love in your house, you know, or the smell of a food that you love that you experience. I don't know, but think about it. What makes you smile and wonder? I mean, the spiritual practice of choosing to pause too isn't just about like I got to catch my breath or I've just been going all day or I deserve a break, right? It's means that you deserve more than just a break so that you can just survive, right? It's about choosing to pause to sit with the wonder in something that might come to you even as a surprise, right? Think about like I have a ton, my kids have a ton of Legos downstairs, but like when you think about Legos, it's actually kind of miraculous that a company created a little block with such precise tolerances that they're easy for little hands to put together and pull apart and yet hold securely once attached, right? Like that makes me smile too. I think of the hours of joy that are found there, the creativity, the inspiration, right? That's the beauty of pausing, right? To help us see the miracles, to really see what's going on. Just pause, take a moment, reflect, take it in. Choose to not just keep filling up your mind and your life and your interactions with stimulus, right? But take a moment to enjoy oneself and to really see what's going on around you, you know? What is happening all around us, right? So let's do that as we end together. Let's open ourselves to the Spirit. Give ourselves the gift of breath and stillness, the gift of pausing, right? Pausing and perceiving and seeing what is all around, what's available, what's the simple miracle. It's not cheesy, it's not stupid. It's You don't have to try too hard. I mean, over to my left, we have a beautiful fig tree plant. I love figs. They can grow so huge. I love how the light is pouring through the windows and reflecting off the waxy leaves, but then also how the leaves, if they're turned just right, illuminate from that dark green to like a light green. And you can see the veins of the stems and the leaves taking in sunlight, turning that light into energy and food and growth. Right? It makes me think what metaphorically speaking, what is light for me? What feeds me, right? What makes me grow and come alive? What does that for you? Right? So let's open ourselves now. Let's just breathe. And out and come to stillness. We'll pause together as we breathe in and out. Let our shoulders drop. helpful for a moment to close your eyes so that you can focus, that's fine. Or to gently look maybe toward you, a few feet ahead of you. Consider the ordinary, the everyday that is all around, that you've lived in and experienced. And let it become an object of wonder. Let it appear. For me, it was the fig plant. There's so many other things around. Or like I said, think to the last couple days. Let the ordinary appear as what it is. As we breathe in and out, and in and out. The power of pausing as a practice invites us to take nothing for granted, to see that there is something deeper, something wondrous all around. As we breathe in and out. Think of the gift of your breath. Something our brains do without even having to think about it. We don't have to do it voluntarily. Like it just does. We just breathe on our own. And yet something so ordinary is so vital to our living. As we take in oxygen and our lungs expand, that oxygen goes to our blood and feeds our organs and our brains. You see, being mindful and attentive, pausing, it grows wonder in us. Let's continue to breathe. And in and out. And simply come to stillness. The gift of stillness that we give to ourselves. I want to invite you to consider, even now, how do you think your life would change if you cultivated more and more a deeper sense of wonder at everything? Maybe that part of you that's like, oh, I'm just going and going and going, and it's the rat race, and it's day in, day out, and then we do all the things on the weekend, and then we're back to it. How would that change if you were able to see every moment as an opportunity to really appreciate the wonder that's all around you, even in the midst of the day-to-day? What do you think your life would be like? Who would you become if you cultivated wonder? As we continue to breathe. Now just simply rest. Rest in the stillness, rest full of wonder and gratitude and hope. Just continue to rest. It helps us to see what is truly real, the deeper reality behind all things. It's here in the resting, it's here in the seeing beyond what is. We experience the presence of God, whose own language is silence and peace and light. When we pause to see, we come alive. Not in hair on fire or manic sort of ways, but in those deep and restful ways. That deep presence, that's what giving ourselves the gift of breath and stillness does. It's a moment of pause. That's what these moments are. It's a gift to ourselves. It's an act of healing. It's a power that we each have. Let me end with a blessing for you and for those you love. From the unreal, Spirit, lead us to the real. From shadows, lead us to the light. From death, lead us to life. Amen. Amen. Oh, spiritual direction and soul care. I'm so glad that you are with us on Sunday Live today. I hope that as we wrap up this section on seeing the miracles, that you have gained some insight into being present to where you are, and choosing to seek wonder and give yourself the gift of pausing and intentional sight to things all around you. I'm so thankful that we can meet together every Sunday, whether you're on the broadcast or the replay. If you know someone who you think would benefit from joining with us, which I think is everyone, come and ask them to join our growing community on our Facebook page. They can come and join our private Facebook page, and that's a great place to connect with each other, as well as check out our soul care program at our website, spiritualdirectionandsoulcare.com. So excited about the things we're doing here in this community, the wisdom that is here, and the ways we can share. I'm trying to figure out the schedule for getting us back into midweek meditation. I'd like us to have a weekly midweek meditation, but scheduling has been a little crazy. So I'll be thinking about that and hopefully communicating soon about that. Love you guys so much. Let me know if there's any way I can support you further. If you want a soul care session or to connect with me, just reach out and let me know on messages through the Facebook page, and we can connect and set up a time on Zoom. Or if you're in the area, maybe we can connect with precautions in real life, depending on your needs. So can't wait to see you guys all next Sunday. In the coming weeks too, we'll have some guests coming to also share and possibly guide our time on spiritual direction and soul care. So be on the lookout for more information as we go into the coming weeks. Thank you for joining us today, and I'm so thankful for the gift of your sacred presence with us today. Have a great week, and we'll see you next Sunday.